Hey guys, this is the Magic Wand tool. I personally think that this tool is underrated, but maybe that's just because I don't see a lot of people using it. Maybe they are. But anyway, the keyboard shortcut is Y, and the modifier keys down here show if you hit Shift, it adds to your selection, Option subtracts from your selection. And I have to confess, I just learned about this while I was playing around with the Magic Wand for this tutorial. Shift Option shows this little X. That means it creates an intersection of selections, and I'll explain that in a minute, what that actually means. So first, I'm just going to open the Magic Wand panel, and I'm going to reset it to its default settings. So we have fill color selected with a tolerance of 32. So the tolerance just means basically how exact of a match do the objects need to be included in a selection. So at 32, if I select this blue circle, it selects all of these other objects that they're close enough with a tolerance of 32 that it'll count it. So if I turn that down to like 15, now you can see only these objects are selected. So the higher the tolerance, the more variance in color will be allowed, or in stroke weight, or in opacity, or whatever it is that you're using to select. So I'm going to set this back to 32. Now I'll show you I'm going to show you what the shift modifier does real quick. So if I select this pink circle, so now I have these three circles selected. If I hold shift, then it'll add all of these objects to that selection. So you can just keep clicking and expand your selection. And then same thing so say I select all of these objects and then I option click, it's going to deselect everything that is this color or close enough depending on your tolerance. So now I'm left with all of these circles. So it's a really quick way to say, I want everything except the blue circles. And there you go. So the intersection of selections, what that means, if I click on this blue circle, see all of these circles that are selected, and then I just click on the purple, you can see this is the selection I'm given. So if you notice, there's only a couple objects that those two selections share. It's this circle and this circle. So if I click on this bright blue circle and then I shift option click on this purple circle, it'll give me the selection that matches both of these objects, and I'm left with these two circles. So like I said, I just discovered this. I haven't really had a chance to use this in any projects. I would love to hear any real world uses you guys find for this. I think it could be really powerful though. It's a cool little trick. So I'm going to turn my tolerance down to 0. I'm going to switch over to stroke color, turn that down to 0 also. So 0 tolerance means that the color has to be an exact match. So like these, right now, they are an exact match. But if I change the stroke color on this object, even just to 89 for the green, now they don't match, even though they're very, very close. So I'll change the colors back so they are a match. Okay, so as you just saw, if I click on this, it selects all objects with this stroke color. So we have this object down here and this object down here. This one selects this one. So what I can do also is I can check fill color again. If I keep both of these selected, now the object has to match both the fill and the stroke color. So if I click on this square down here, nothing selected. Nothing, nothing. This is the only object that has a matching fill and stroke color, and it'll select both of those objects. And similarly, I'll just show you stroke weight. It comes with a tolerance of 5. This means plus or minus 5 points. So if this is 10 and this is 15, then if I click on this object, it's only going to select this because it's within 5 points, but these are 10 points thinner, roughly. So if I click on this, it should select all these because they're all within 5 plus or minus. And you can figure out what opacity and blending mode does. Well, blending mode, if you click on an object with multiply, it'll select all the other objects with multiply, or whatever blending mode you have set, or whatever blending mode the object has that you click on, I should say. Okay, so the other thing that I use Magic Wand for is if you do a Pathfinder function with, so I'll do divide on these overlapping circles. So what happens is you have this negative space and you can't see it, but it creates an object in that negative space. So if I change the color of my selection now, all of a sudden this object appears, and that can really ruin your artwork if you have a lot of negative space and everything in there. You're trying to do a silhouette of something, that'll ruin it. So what you can do is click divide and then use the magic wand. Make sure you have fill color set. Now option click on your object one of your objects, or however many colors you have in the original ones. You may have to option click on multiple objects, but you're left with this object with no fill and no stroke. And so you just want to delete that. Now you can change the color of your object and you'll keep the silhouette that you originally had. And then similarly, I'm going to use this photo from Jay Leems. You can follow his Instagram. There's his username down there. So if I just hit image trace, I'm not going to bother tweaking the settings for this. I'll just expand it. So I'm left with black and white objects. So I want to isolate the black objects and use that for a texture. I'm going to hit magic wand and deselect black. Now all I have left is white objects selected. I can just delete those, and now all I have is black. I can use that for a texture pattern or whatever I need. So that's it for the magic wand. We are on Instagram, and I would love to see any projects that you guys have been making, especially if it's something you learned in a tutorial. Just tag us or send us a photo and a message or whatever. But that's our Instagram username is Level Labs. So thanks for watching, you guys.